You can take the teacher out of the classroom, but apparently you can't make me stop teaching? I did a little thing today over at Lune Metaphysical shop in Hagerstown, Maryland live. Would you like a view of it here on the replay? See you soon. Alrighty, so if you don't have a pen, a journal, or a handout, now would be a good time to select them and kind of go ahead and get started, and we'll just slide anyone in. Introductions. Most of you do not know me as this, but I am Jenna O'Malley. I am your soul writer, author of sci-fi, fantasy, with dashes of romance and nerdy references, and welcome to Journaling with Tarot Class 1 of however far we're going to take this. Tarot to me, as some audience members knows, is a mental health tool. It does not solve your mental health, but it sure does help you kind of go, I'm not as off base as I feel I am in this moment. I came into tarot after a very tumultuous time in my life. March 2020, we all know what happened to us public school teachers. We got never-ending spring break.
Someone's on their way.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. We got never-ending spring break. Up to that point, I had not been able to conceive a child. IVF, IUIs, nothing was working. October of 2021, we find out we're pregnant with our miracle baby. Months before Roe v. Wade's yanked away from us. In light of, my doctor rushed me through an abortive miscarriage that I was not mentally prepared to handle. Tarot came into my life shortly after, thanks to my mother-in-law saying, I think there's a message for you. I'm going to give it to you, but I don't have the answer you need. I kept coming back to tarot after she did a reading for me, and kept coming back, and kept coming back, and soon got this idea from people that to sit down and start tracking the cards. Now, I'm a Virgo. I like data.
I'm with you on Virgo too.
I like data. So I'm like, okay, I need to start journaling. And that's kind of where the roots of this personally came for me. Now let's fast forward a couple of years. Since then, I've started a business as a writer. And tarot is flooding into not only my writing, but helping me be better mental health to serve the writers I'm now serving. A lot of the people whom are my editing clients and my writing coaching clients are women whom are neurodiverse or whom have experienced vast amounts of trauma from the men in their lives. Sorry to the men in the room. You've met your fellow men, you understand. Hello, my friend. You are welcome to join in. You are not late. You're just starting.
Okay.
Heads up. We do have a recording going for YouTube.
Hi!
That's fine with you? You're kind of face this way and you're not toward the camera.
That chair is actually somebody else's one.
Oh, okay. And you just need a journal, a pen, and a handout, hun. Get started as you settle in. You're welcome to join us. So, for me, I like to start teaching journaling with tarot from where I came into it. Dealing with me before I started creating somebody else's life. Fictionally to be chaotic and to deal with the cards I'm dealing for them. I need to learn to deal with the cards that life is dealing me first. So that's kind of where the Journal with Tarot course came to be. I've taught this with a couple of different authors as my co-teacher and not. If you go on my YouTube channel, you may see Mama Maggie Ward is her name, and I teaching this class in a slightly different way. But it's, as you will hear me say, no wrong way to do tarot. That's why whenever I put this class together, yeah, you can do it with tarot, but really, truly, you can do it with any deck. The deck that I like to work with, other than tarot, traditional tarot, is called the Soul Truth deck. If you want a throw it in your back pocket, affirmation, gives you a good journal prompt kind of deck for your journaling, I love this deck. Absolutely so much. I'll pass around a couple cards in it, and you can see it gives you that question and some answers on the back. I do ask that I get these cards back because my YouTube audience would like if they got the cards back. Whenever I do some live streams with my YouTube channel, I will sometimes at the start of those pull a card, and that is their tarot prompt for the day if they choose to journal while we're doing what's called writing sprints. We chat for a bit, we work for a bit, we chat for a bit. And also, if you wanted to swap out, say, to something that isn't an affirmation like deck, and just pass them back in this way when you're done looking, if you don't mind, please. I can pick up that table here in a moment. You can also do something even like with the Moonology Oracle cards, okay? Oracle cards, thank you, sweetheart, are similar but different, kind of similar mindset to tarot, where it can give you a lot of insight and answers, different interpretations. If you don't like numbers, hello my fellow math people who didn't do so good at math in school, this might be a little less offensive to you. Maybe, maybe not. There's numbers on here. Numerology can be in play if you learn numerology. It's just a different system of getting to know you and look at who you are reflectively and reflexively. And that's why I think, as a Virgo, even more so, this journaling can help you. So if you turn into the handout first there, please. I've given you kind of a little spiel, a little introduction. Now, I don't teach you necessarily how to do, understand, and whatnot the tarot. This is part of your journaling journey, is learning your deck. Checking in, does this deck resonate with me? And that's where I really like to point people down towards the, you see I've given you like a daily journal example. You can do this however you want in your actual journal. It does not have to be my layout at all whatsoever, but the questions I'm asking you there do matter. What's your mood when you're coming into this situation? Because that's going to affect your mindset of potentially how that image or those words related to the cards reflects who you are. So if you're like on that very sad, you might need to take a couple of minutes to meditate. Maybe a shower, maybe a quick walk, a cup of coffee. There's no wrong way to meditate. And we do it every day and we don't even think about it, honestly. Draw your card. I've given you a slot there. Today's card is, if you're a beginner, start with just one card. I entice that because there's a lot of cards in that deck. If you don't know them, they can be intimidating. They're paper and ink. They're not meant to be intimidating. Okay? So, worst they're going to do is give you a paper cut. Most painful thing in the world, apparently. But what I also like here is if you are an artist, you could draw it. Heads up, there's stickers. If you're a sticker person, they have I don't know if they have the Marseille deck now, Jamie. I know they have the Rider-Waite deck. They'll have actual like peel and stick stickers. So, thank you. They have Marseille ones too.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I have a couple for sale.
Uh-oh.
She has them for sale. If you would like to go sticker. I didn't bring mine. Thank you, Jacy.
Shop when this is over.
Yeah, seriously.
Mom
Shop.
just brought them in yesterday.
Thank you,
Not
Mom.
yesterday, on Friday.
So I've taken in my own personal journal, I will put the sticker there because I'm a visual learner. So I'll go ahead and put the sticker there. What does it mean? Because as you may or may not know, depending on the deck you're dealing with, this way is different and sometimes not quite 180 opposite to that way.
Right.
They can be cousins. They can be like 90 degrees apart from each other, depending on the deck and the interpretation, but they kind of are two sides of a coin. So yeah, that sticker can be helpful. The U and R help for upright and reverse if you are a person who doesn't use the stickers. But just tracking each and every day, what am I getting, what position I'm getting in, you'll start learning the cards, what their meanings are. And eventually, maybe you are drawing the same cards day after day after day. Maybe this deck, as we were talking before class, needs reset.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the dice earrings I'm wearing. If they get unweighted or too much favor goes to it, how do you correct it? With a deck, normally resetting it to 0 in order helps. Or maybe it's time for you to switch to a new deck. Some people believe that too. That's okay. That's up to you. Ultimately, whatever is right for you fits, okay? What I think is more important also are the 2 questions that are below and the one beside. Now that you found your card, you know what the traditional intended meaning is. Let's pull on some intuition here and really take it into our hearts and souls. So, how appropriate is this card to my life up until now? We're not looking at the future. We're checking in. This is like in a video game, especially the multi-disc video games where you have that little circular save point. And when you hop on the save point, it lights up and your character kind of goes, my energy is refilled, my magic bar is refilled. What's it been like? And normally a lot of gamers will take those moments if they have access to like a merchant shop to buy stuff. It's kind of one of those inventories. You're doing one here. How have things been since I checked in last? And I labeled it daily journal. You could do this every day, Monday through Sunday if you wanted. Some people don't. Some people do it 3 days a week, every other day. That's fine. Just make sure you're giving yourself a date so you know your pattern. Those of us whom are newer or divergent are probably going to go, I did it 3 days this week, 1 day this week, 2 days next week, and that's fine too.
And it's never the same day.
Correct. However, once you start doing this after a couple weeks, you will start seeing habitually which days come up and or which life things that happen. Hello, Miss Judy. Have a seat. You are not late, honey. Have a seat.
Got you right here.
We're on wizard time.
Yes, that is what we call it, don't we? On my YouTube channel, I say, you are not late. You are like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings and showing up to parties, and you're pacing your time and your stride. He told Frodo, I showed up when I felt like it, and I'm on time, so are you. So, make sure with the how appropriate is this card to your life up until now, you're being really honest. Not brutal, Virgos. Not brutal. Very kind and gentle and graceful to yourself, because
I'm a Taurus, I'm always kind of gentle and graceful.
you're a fellow Earth sign, we get it. We like to be harsh to ourselves first and others as a ripple, unfortunately. So you're just checking in. Be non-judgmental. This is, if you're coming to this space being judgmental to you or others, maybe we need to go back to the mood check. That's why it's kind of first, because you don't want to bring that into your space and multiply it unintentionally. We want to deflate it by intention instead. So the other questions, what filled your soul today with joy and grace? It doesn't matter how small it is, you're winning this game by inches. The entire life of Earth feels like football players, goal in inches. That's okay. How are you empowering you to get to the next goal line? What small victories are you not seeing that should have been guiding you every step of the way? And then, by comparison, what draining things are you letting go into the past to be what they are? Because the card may have told you more about that than the positive stuff. Depending on the card and whether or not it was upright or reversed. Okay? How long is this journaling going to take? Well, some days it's 5 minutes. Some days I'm there for half an hour, and that's okay. But that's what you needed. In this world where it's all chaos, distraction, and worse, we deserve to take this time and remind ourselves it's okay to be still. Therefore, I've talked about looking at the data a couple times. Let's look at the next page. Hello, weekly journals. So my intention when I do this is Monday through Saturday. let's do the daily journal. Whatever I get done in those daily journals, if it's every day, so be it. If it's a couple days, so be it. Whatever happened, happened. I'm going to not drag it into the muck of the chaos of the good future. Okay? 1 day a week. Your last day you journal that week. Hopefully, maybe middle of the week could also work. Or maybe it's your first one of the next week looking back. Answer these questions. Which cards were the most accurate? Because sometimes they're not when you first look at them. Hindsight is not just 2020. Sometimes it's even better. It's 2010. It's like 4K HD in hindsight. So, which cards were not the most accurate? This is also a good check of that resonating with you. Does your deck need reset? Are you pulling the same cards? Start seeing those patterns in here too. And you see why it works great then with another deck like this that isn't tarot. Maybe you're giving Oracle or whatever a try and you're like, this isn't working. Maybe I should go back to tarot. Those decisions could be figured out a little bit for you, just to give you some observational data tracking of, is this fitting for me versus feeling like I'm going blindly into learning this. Is this deck still resonating? Why or why not? Okay. For me, the longest time, I went old school traditional. I had standard Rider Waite deck and one of Eden Gray's The Complete Guide to Tarot, because this was the first book that was given to me to learn it. I eventually switched over to Biddy Tarot for a while. Did not resonate with me. I came back to here. Now that I've learned the traditional deck a little bit, I wanted to learn more about their deeper meaning with numerology. If you can find one of these decks, they're so cool. I'll pass a couple of these around. Saw Jamie eyeballing a few of them. I do not intend to give you any bad thing with the cards I give you. I'm just randomly giving you the card. Do not take the card as an intuitive, you were meant to get to this today. This is pure look at it example. I wish I knew about these decks sooner, because it has a type of interpretation on them. And when I got this deck was when I started kind of learning to write fiction with tarot. Because you could see where there's a deeper meaning right singularly on that card that might not have been in a more traditional interpretation. Not all beginner decks are going to pull on the same interpretation of it either, but sometimes having a slightly different interpretation is a more fitting interpretation for you, which can also be acceptable. So what I suggest for people to do is, bless you, if one deck is not giving you what you need,
Can I get your cards?
if she's still looking at it, she's fine.
No, I didn't know if she was.
She's fine.
Yeah.
If you wanted something a little bit more travel size as well, and didn't want to carry, a book, and those are cool for that also. But what I would like to entice you to do with the different decks, if you're looking at switching out, give it at least 3 weeks. Even if you're not journaling daily, really try to get to know the deck. And I'm saying this as someone who has that neurodivergence. It might be more my willingness to interact with it, blocking me up learning it, than the deck itself. So that's why I'm saying give yourself those reps, those athletic repeats in there to see if it works. What major hurdles have you cleared this week? Did you finish a project that you are proud you're finished? Did something unexpectedly happen that you weren't expecting to happen and you survived it? Definitely dial into giving yourself congratulations in that moment. That's another one of those moments where you won this week by inches. Celebrate your small steps on the journey. On the back page of your weekly reflection, what is left over for you to address ASAP in planning ahead for the next week. Again, some stuff previous week could have happened that was and was not planned. Now you have a little bit of insight with the cards of how to hopefully, in a mental health friendly to you way, go, okay, I can get through this. There may be an answer in your card draws that week that's kind of like, well, here's a path to consider. You could start looking at those things. Maybe this is a moment where you're like, I need to sit down with someone. I'm going to ask you what cards came up about communication that week then. You see how you can look at the threads in your journaling and pull it back to the center. What are you most proud of this week? It could be those hurdles. You may repeat. But you may say, I'm proud of how I handled that hurdle. And you could just make a reference back to. How can you reward yourself in some small way? It doesn't need to cost you any money. Sorry, Jacy, I'm saying this as a fellow business owner. Consumerism is not always the answer to a reward system. Sorry, Jacy.
Bother me.
So could you go on a walk? Instead of making the fast version of dinner tonight, can you make it the long, complicated, yummier way? Instead of having dinner, Sunday night dinner, could you have it Wednesday night? Give yourself that midweek reward if Sunday night's your big dinner night traditionally. Could you, since we're in a room full of mostly ladies, could you take that girl shower you've been wanting forever where it's scrub every crevice from head to toe and you come out looking like you buffed yourself into a marble goddess that you are? That's fine. If you go, I haven't done that in a while. It could be, maybe I'm buying myself a new journal, a new pen, something tiny, not expensive. Something not food related if food tends to be your go-to. What have you learned about yourself this week to grow for future you? Because ultimately, that's kind of what we can use this to remind ourselves that we're stronger than we think. We wouldn't be here, in my opinion, if we couldn't handle things the way they are. And this is a moment for you to take a step back and, as I said earlier, give yourself the gratitude and grace. To acknowledge, yeah, I'm human. I may have messed up this week. Or I may have reacted to how somebody else handled something in a way I'm not proud of. However, what can I learn about being a better me in this state of being instead of just letting it lapse to a state of doing? So what I had hoped to spend another good chunk of class doing today is to allow you to actually start journaling. They say the best format of teaching is to lecture for a little bit and then shush mom mouth and let you do. So I'm going to entice you to do. Go ahead and open up your journal. And if you need a pen or anything, go ahead and grab. If you need a deck, Jacy has some for sale. If you want Jacy's stickers, you can start poking her for stickers here soon. Take some time and shuffle your deck, especially if it's a new to you deck or, as some people did, you resat it. Thank you all for taking the time to sit down and do some journaling with me and to consider how you can be taking care of yourself a little bit better each and every day, winning by inches. Again, if you want to go ahead and hang out with us IRL or part 2, February, the last Sunday in February, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, Lune Metaphysical Shop, Hagerstown, Maryland. We're going to do the advanced class. Today we did one deck, one card. We're going to make it multiple cards, multiple decks next time. Slightly different journal layout, a little bit more in-depth class, and we even talked today after what went on in here, because we talked for another half an hour, 45 minutes, about maybe taking something Mama Maggie and I did last fall and doing an in-person version with Tarot for Writers. So, in the meantime, we have a lot of epic things going on around here. I have another episode of Video Games Warped My Writing coming out this week. We have the Self-Editing Armors Workshop coming up. I do dare believe that February the 1st is Saturday and we have Double Down Day for Heart Breathing, so wow. I think we just ramped up for the year. Oh, yeah, and by the way, more about novellas and things, and a surprise second cover reveal for a little thing called Pearl and Gold here in the future. Maybe blurbs in the future too? We shall see. Take care of you. Your voice has value. Dang it. All the hugs.